Okay, this is example 7. It's not a word problem. It just basically says, here's some data. Let's make a logarithmic model to match that data, right? How do we, what's the first place we start if we want to use the calculator to make a model of data? You got to enter it in the calculator, right? How do you do that? How do you do that? You go stat, edit, right? And you're trying to put it under the L1 and the L2. So that one, example 7. I've already put the data in this emulator, right? But you just want to put the data in, and then they've already told us the kind of model that we're going to use. Most of the time, and on the next example and in the homework, it doesn't actually tell you which model to use. You got to look at the data and try to see what the shape is. Do you remember how to look at data, look at your plot? Stat plot is on the y equals. Second, stat plot, turn on the plotting of points. Oops, that was wrong. Second, stat plot, 1. Okay, arrow over to the on, enter. It's already on scatter plot. It's taken the data from L1 and L2, which is where I put it. What's that? Open your book, look at example 7. If you're just asking for the data, this is from the book, example 7. Okay, now, unless you zoom to the data, it could be like not anywhere near the origin. This data is not too bad. But recommended is do zoom 9 so that it just looks at the data. You know, it focuses the window right there, right? They said to use the logarithmic model. Does logarithmic look pretty good for this? I mean, is this the shape of a logarithm? Yeah, pretty much. It's not a bad estimate. So they said use logarithmic. How do I make that model now? Stat, calc, look for the logarithmic. You only got one. That's number 9. Right? You don't have a log. You have ln only. Enter. And then you hit enter. Right? So here's the format, a plus b ln of x. So you got 2 constants. Here's the a and here's the b. No, you have to use a calculator. You have to know how to do these things. It's been several years now that you've been doing this in the calculator. Time to remember something. Okay, so if you plug in for the 2 constants, that's what you get. Right? Now, you have options on your calculator. You could go through these steps right here. Right? On your calculator, if you want to put the line to go right through without just hand entering it, you could always go to the y equals and just write in that. Just put it in exactly like that, and it'll go through the points. Your calculator, if you have an 80, actually I think both of your calculators will do this. You could always go to the vars, which is right here, and then statistics. Remember stat for statistics. And if you arrow over to the equation, and this is the equation that you just made. So if you just hit enter, it should enter that right there. Now, I know that mine usually makes an error on this. Well, actually, it looks right there pretty good. So you could either do that, or you could just like type in those numbers exactly like that in y equals. And then you can see that it's a pretty good model of the data you were given.